Alrighty, the Padres made some news today. They signed Kyle Hart back, and they could have brought him back for $5 million, but they declined that option. And he comes back on a $1 million deal. It's a little bit more than $1 million because there's the buyout. It's really 1.2 mil minimum because of that $200,000 buyout. But yeah, Robert Murray with the details here. 1 year, 1 mil, $2.5 million club option for 2027, $200,000 buyout. It includes escalators on games pitched that can increase the buyout to $500,000 and escalators on games started that can increase the club option to $4.5 million. So bringing him back, I think a lot of the reaction was like, "Great, we bring back Kyle Hart. What a big move by the Padres." And I was being sarcastic, as I am a lot on social media. Some fans don't understand that, but I like being sarcastic, and it's social media. It's fun. And so I list the options that we have right now, and I say, let's ride. It's Pavetta, Musgrove, Vasquez, Waldron, JP Sears, and Kyle Hart. Uh, really, those are the options right now. And I'm like, there you go. Let's ride. Totally being sarcastic. Like, of course, that's not enough in this rotation. But I don't think we should worry too much about the Kyle Hart thing. Like, he's going to pitch some innings for the Padres. Hopefully, it's not in as big of a role as what it seems like right now, because that means that injuries happen, that the rotation depth isn't that great. Kyle Hart, like, he could end up being like, ideally, he is someone that's in El Paso starting games for you, and he can come up and make spot starts. Or at some point, they transition him into the bullpen to eat some innings there because he can do that as well. So I don't hate bringing back Kyle Hart. Like, I want to be clear. I'm not like, this is a terrible move. It's kind of like, all right, cool. Like, needed to. Not going to go running around the room because they signed Kyle Hart back. I mean, just think, really, like, describing this move. It's $5 million. The Padres said no. And then he agreed to come back on 1/5 of that salary. So he had a negative WAR last year. It's not like this guy was super coveted out there on the free agent market, but it's a depth arm, fine, and then you move on. Really, like that's what I got on. Really, what I've got is what's coming up now this offseason. Is this the Padres signaling what they're going to be doing? Like, these types of moves is what we're going to see from this Padres front office this offseason. Potentially, this Kyle Hart thing is just a sign of things to come. And I think that's the case. Because if you look at the luxury tax, and not even just the luxury tax, but that's part of it. The luxury tax for 2026 is $244 million. The Padres, according to Fangraphs, their estimated luxury tax payroll right now is a little bit under $235 million. So that leaves them with less than $10 million of room before hitting that. And there's the trade deadline where you make moves, and that adds salary onto it. So there's that. New ownership, or, not new ownership yet, but owners that are looking to sell the team, do you really think that they're going to want to go over the luxury tax threshold? And if they will, is it going to be over the second luxury tax threshold? I just don't see that. And again, this is a sign of things to come. I talked about it when the new ownership news came out, or that they were selling the team. Why would the Padres ownership approve of long-term deals right now and big money contracts? There's already a lot of big money contracts on this team. So bringing in guys that the new ownership group didn't sign to these deals, that's going to make your asset less appealing to these people. And you're already in $300 million of debt, right? More than that, I think. So there's that makes this asset less appealing. There's the big contracts already on the books. Obviously, we can talk about the competition in the National League that the Padres have to face anyway. But, like, there's things here that make this not very appealing. It's appealing to me, to Padres fans, right? But I'm just talking about people, someone maybe that's rich but isn't a Padres fan, right? Just they're looking at this from a business perspective. less appealing if you have those long-term contracts. The more long-term contracts, the less appealing, I would think. And so why would the Padres do long-term contracts? So what I'm thinking is, all right, either it's going to be 1-year deal guys in free agency, or the Padres will make trades for guys that are rentals, that are 1-year guys. And I looked on Spot Track to see any guys that are going to be free agents after this season, this next season, not free agents now, but after this next season, because I can go to the free agents starting pitching for this offseason here in a little bit. But I'm looking at these names, and it's like these are big contracts already that the Padres aren't going to be acquiring. They're not acquiring Corbin Burns, Sonny Gray, Robbie Ray, Derek Skubal, Luis Severino, Kevin Gausman, Chris Sale, Jose Barrios, Jack Flaherty. Like these guys are making over 17 mil, on their AAV. You're not acquiring these guys. Jameson Taillon, Shane Bieber. Obviously, that's the Blue Jays. Like they're trying to go win, so they're not going to deal him anyway. But like Kyle Freeland, Jesus Luzardo, Sandy Alcantara's almost 12 mil. Like you're just not going to be acquiring that money, I wouldn't think. Unless Padres ownership, unless John Seidler is telling the truth when he's like, yeah, we're going to be, I'm not quoting him, but paraphrasing, 100% committed while we're trying to sell the team. It's hard for me to believe that. So yeah, this is what it's going to be AJ Preller having to work his magic once again. And we'll see how he does. If we're going to look at the current free agent options on the market for this offseason, let's see. Nick Martinez, how much would he get on the free agent market right now? Like this offseason, what do you think he's going to get? Is that someone the Padres could bring back? Can they afford him? Because with the money that they have, and maybe they go over the luxury tax, but looking at how things are at right now, they could just really have to go find the good contract. And if it is a long-term contract, let's say it's like 3 or 4 years of control, obviously you're going to have to give up some from the farm system. But I could see them doing that sort of thing, and that's the only thing where you get control from a player. It's not going to be in free agency. In trade, okay, because the contract isn't a lot. They're in their pre-arb years, let's say, or their last pre-arb year. And then ownership would be like, okay, the new group can worry about that contract when it comes. But it works for us now, or it works for us for the next couple of years before he gets expensive in arbitration. But just looking at the free agents, Max Scherzer is going to be over 10 mil. There's Giolito, Bassett, Nick Martinez, Alex Cobb, Justin Verlander, John Gray, Zach Gallen, Dylan Cease. He's not coming back. Zach Eflin, Shona Imanaga is an interesting one. But you also kind of have to question, like, the Cubs didn't want to bring him back at that price. So why should the Padres want to bring him in? Now, if it's based on the Padres price, then yeah, if he's available at that, yeah, you probably are. I think he can still get paid. Tyler Anderson. That's a name that I feel like I throw out there every offseason, but then he ends up getting a good amount of money. So we'll see if that changes. Herman Marquez, will they take a chance on him? Merrill Kelly. Would they bring Nestor Cortez back? Maybe. Michael Lorenzen. But as I scroll down this list, now you're getting at guys where it's like there's talent there, but you'd be taking a risk. Like it's risky. I guess Stroman's a free agent. Dustin May's a free agent. John Means, I think he used to be one of the Orioles' top starters. Griffin Canning, Jose Quintana, Michael Kopech, who was in the bullpen. So, yeah, not super. Wade Miley's 39. But you're probably going to have to bring one of those options in, and they sign a 1-year, $1 million deal, and they fight for innings in this rotation. That's just the situation that you're at, because let's remember, it's not just the starting pitching. Starting pitching obviously is a priority, but you want to get power in that first base bat. And Ryan O'Hearn, last time I saw, he could get like 10, 12 mil a year. That's already taken you over the luxury tax. And then their interest, whatever the level is, and bringing back someone like Luis Arraez. I know there's a lot of fans out there that feel a certain way towards that, but I'm just telling you what's been reported. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this offseason develops for the Padres. And I think this is a sign. This Kyle Hart signing was a sign of things to come, of how this is going to look. Maybe they add one guy where it's pretty good money for 1 year, or a year with a couple options, or an option. There was an option in this Kyle Hart contract, obviously. But I just don't see how it's going to be big money anywhere on the roster. Like, Suarez is going to be gone, Cease gone, King gone, Arraez probably gone. I'm just thankful that, regardless of what happens, let's say guys are healthy, you're in a better spot lineup-wise on opening day, I think, than you already were last year. When you had Jason Hayward, Yuli Gurriel was on the team, I think. Remember that? Now you're going to have Freddie Fermin, you're going to have Ramon Laureano, like the outfield, Laureano in left, Merrill in center, Tatis in right. You've got Manny, Bogarts, Crony. Like, there's a collection of talent there that can win you some ball games if they perform up to the level that they can. So it's not the worst spot to be in. I know there's going to be a lot of talk about how the Padres, they're nowhere close to where they need to be, and all. It is November 17th. I do want to point that out. And there's work to be done for sure. And they're not in the best spot in terms of financial backing, at least I wouldn't think, from ownership. They're in $300 million of debt, and more than that. And they're looking to sell the team. And again, I just don't buy how you can be 100% committed to this year's team winning when you're trying to sell the team. Those two don't really mix. We'll see. We'll see, though. AJ feels like it's going to be another offseason where he and Josh Stein and the crew is going to have to work their magic.